Next part of the chapter is regarding the fertilization and implantation. So, what do you mean by fertilization then? So, the process of fusion of a sperm with an ovum is called as fertilization. Once again, I'll repeat, the process of fusion of a sperm with an ovum is called as fertilization. So then, what happens to how the fertilization will occur? So usually during copulation, or you can also call it as coitus or having sex, what happens is the semen from the male is released by the penis into the vagina, and it is called as insemination. So once insemination occurs, what next? So here you can see the sperms. They have shown you the diagram of the sperms will be like this, and they've also shown you the diagram of the female. Okay, so next is what happens to this then, that is what happens to the sperms then. So the motile sperms, once they are released by the male, these sperms they have shown in the diagrams on the left hand side, that is the sperms are released in the vagina. Here in the starting point vagina, the sperms they have indicated the name. The now the sperms which are released by the male, where the sperms will be there, the sperms in the semen, here sperms will be there. Those semen, as it is released by the penis into the vagina, the motile sperms start swimming rapidly. Okay, they'll start move, running race will start now. Okay, so the motile sperms will swim rapidly and they will pass through the cervix. So here, sorry, they'll move to the cervix. The upper part of the vagina is called the cervix, you know very well. So cervix, now the sperms move to the cervix, and then they will enter into, slowly they will enter into the uterus, and finally now they will move to the ampullary isthmus junction. Here they have shown the diagram. See the diagram carefully on the left hand side. Sperms moving from the vagina into the cervix into the uterus. Now they have started moving towards the tube. You can see that tube is called as the oviduct, and it has got different parts, that is ampullary isthmus junction. Here sperm is moving towards the ampullary isthmus junction. So here sperms, from the sperms they will move, for sperms which are deposited in the vagina, they will move to cervical canal. Then from there they will go to uterus, and from there they will go to isthmus. These are all the parts of the fallopian tube. Then they will reach the ampullary region. Whereas now for fertilization you only do not require sperms. For that you require egg also, and you all know very well that is egg is released from the ovary. So here the left side they have also shown you regarding the ovary. From the ovary, a red color dot they have shown you, that is nothing but the egg. Now egg is released from the ovary. Now it will be collected by the finger like projections called as fimbriae. Then it will move to a broad funnel shaped structure known as infundibulum. Again from the infundibulum it will move to the ampulla, and finally it will reach the ampullary isthmus junction. Okay, now sperm is have also come to that point, egg has also come to that point. It is just like a dating area. Okay, now sperm has come, egg has come. Then what next? Once your sperm as well as the egg reaches the isthmus ampulla junction, the fertilization occurs there. So usually if they'll ask you which is the region in the oviduct where fertilization occurs, or which is the region in the fallopian tube where fertilization occurs, you have to say that it is the ampulla isthmus junction. It is a place where fertilization occurs. So once they are together in the ampullary isthmus junction, fertilization occurs. That is already I told you regarding the definition of fertilization, that is the fusion of the sperm with the ovum is called as fertilization. And where does it occur? It will occur in the ampullary region of the fallopian tube. Okay, what next then? So here fertilization. So in the diagram they have shown you how this is the egg, orange color egg, and the sperm is penetrating inside. Okay, so here how below diagram they have shown you how this, that is how your membrane of the sperm, that is acrosome of the sperm, will release enzymes, and that is going to dissolve the wall of the egg, and your sperm is going to, or the nucleus of the sperm will enter the egg. Okay, before that, let me see you let us know regarding the basic things. So as you all know, that is fertilization happens only if the ovum and the sperms are transported simultaneously. Means both egg and sperm should come to that ampullary isthmus region simultaneously together, then only fertilization is going to occur. So only they say all copulations do not lead to fertilization and pregnancy. Means all, whenever, that means whenever you have sex, that is not going to lead to fertilization and pregnancy, because that is the entry of the sperm and the entry of the ovum should get coordinated. If it is not coordinated, that may not lead to pregnancy. Then here usually your sperm, when it comes in contact with the zona pellucida layer of your egg, it induces changes in the membrane. The membrane of your, in the below diagram they have shown you. When the sperm comes in contact with the outer layer of your egg, that is zona pellucida, that is going to induce changes in the membrane. That is going to block the entry of additional sperm. Means suppose once one sperm has approached the egg, that approach of the sperm will lead to the changes in the membrane of the egg, and therefore your egg will not allow another sperm to enter, because already it has entertained one, or already it has permitted one sperm to go inside. So there are changes in the, that is in the membrane of your egg, or you can say the membrane of the egg will block the entry of additional sperms. Then what happens is the secretion of the acrosome will help sperm to enter the egg cytoplasm via zona pellucida and plasma membrane. And this will cause second meiotic division of secondary oocyte to form an ovum or the oocyte and second polar body. So already I told you, that is whatever the egg is released during your menstrual cycle, it is ovulation, that is secondary oocyte, which is arrested at metaphyse. But then what next? So here during fertilization, whenever sperm will enter into the egg, whatever the arrested meiosis 1 is there, that will continue further, and there is formation of fresh ovum or oocyte. Then the haploid nuclei of the sperm and the ovum fuse together to form a diploid zygote. So remember, then you may ask me how the membranes of the egg are dissolved. So your acrosome, that is the head region of the sperm, will contain cap-like structure known as acrosome, which will contain number of hydrolytic enzyme, and these hydrolytic enzyme will help in dissolving the plasma membrane as well as zona pellucida of the egg, and thereby that will lead to the entry of the sperm into the egg. And once the sperm enters into the cytoplasm of the egg, that will lead to the fertilization of egg and sperm and lead to the formation of zygote. Okay, so here the diagram is going to show you the left side, that is when there is entry of the nucleus of the sperm as well as the egg. So there is formation of a diploid structure known as zygote, and this zygote will now undergo mitotic division. Okay, so it will undergo mitotic division, that is nothing but you can also call it as cleavage. It will undergo cleavage, and as it starts to move through the isthmus towards the uterus, that is, as you all know, that is sperm and egg have fertilized in the isthmus ampullary junction. Once after fertilization, do you think they will stay there only? No. After fertilization, from the tube they have to move towards the uterus, and while moving towards the uterus, this fertilized structure, that is zygote, during its journey towards the uterus, it will start dividing, that is it will undergo cleavage by mitotic division. As a result, there is formation of 2-celled stage, 4-celled stage, 8-celled stage, 16-cell stage, and that together you call it as blastomeres. Whereas the embryo with 8 to 16 blastomeres is called as a morula, and this morula continues to divide and transform into blastocyst. Here you can see the diagram of blastocyst. Then here the same thing they have given, that is zygote, then 2, 4, 6, 8 cell stage that has transformed itself into blastula. Then this blastula, in human beings you call it as a blastocyst. In blastocyst, the blastomeres are arranged into an outer layer known as trophoblast. Here you can see in the section of blastula, that is, it has got an outer layer of cells known as trophoblast and inner cell mass which are attached to the trophoblast here. Okay, inner cell mass. Okay, then the trophoblast layer gives nourishment to the inner cell mass. Also, it is gets attached to the endometrium, that is the outermost part. Whereas the inner cell mass gets itself differentiated into 3 germ layers, that is outer ectoderm, middle mesoderm and inner endoderm. And this 3-layer structure, gastrula, is going to form a embryo. So in practical also you will study regarding this blastocyst in detail. So usually the outer layer of the blastocyst is called as trophoblast, whereas the inner will contain cell mass. So then here, before going to this fertilization and implantation, let me tell you that is, as I already told you, a zygote will undergo divisions and give rise to your further, it may be blastula or a morula, etc. That is, and before telling that, let me tell you that the first cleavage, first division usually takes place after 30 hours after fertilization. This, that is, at this point, if there is fertilization has occurred, that is the egg and the sperm has united, then after 30 hours there is first cleavage taken place in the zygote. Then second cleavage usually takes place 20 hours after the first cleavage. Okay, then comes here after these all the cleavages, then comes here morula. That is, then the morula will undergo further development to form blastocyst. Then, as I already told you, a blastocyst will have outer layer known as trophoblast, inner group of cells which is known as inner cell mass. Okay, then here this blastocyst, now what will happen to this blastocyst, what will happen to here this blastocyst now? This blastocyst now it has to attach itself to the inner wall of the uterus. So here, that is, as I already told you, that is the trophoblast cells, where that is trophoblast is nothing but the outer layer of the blastocyst. Then the cells of this trophoblast will contain certain proteolytic enzyme which will dissolve a small portion. Here in this diagram they have shown you. Sir, after attachment, the uterine wall, or they have shown you the further part. Before that, let me tell you, it is the trophoblast, the cells of the trophoblast will contain certain proteolytic enzyme which will dissolve small portion of the area of endometrium and make a depression, and this blastocyst will now get buried in it. Okay, once your blastocyst is getting buried in the wall of the uterus, so in the diagram they have shown you, so this is the endometrium and this is the uterine cavity. So this is all the round structure is there, that is the blastocyst, and outer cell layer is called as a that is, this is the blastocyst, and the outer wall layer is the trophoblast. This trophoblast will contain proteolytic enzyme, they will make a depression, and then in that depression the your blastocyst will sit now. Once the blastocyst is attached to the uterine or your endometrium wall, the uterine cells will divide rapidly and they will cover your blastocyst. Here they have shown, see with the diagram, the first part it is simply attached, the next part the endometrium is going to grow over and surround the embryo. Okay, so this is how, that is first your attachment, the next is that is the blastocyst becomes embedded in the endometrium, and that is called as implantation. And once this happens, that is nothing but the confirmation for pregnancy. Okay, now here you can see the events they have given, that is the fertilization and the implantation at a glance, at a single stretch you can see here what happens. So here, that is, ovulation has taken place right from right side you see. So here ovary, then corpus luteum, then rupturing follicle, ovulation. And ovulation, that is the egg is in the secondary oocyte stage. Then next is about the fertilization, when the egg is going to get attacked by the sperms, and only one sperm will penetrate the egg, and then here egg cell nucleus, sperm nucleus together are there. The next diagram is going to show the formation of zygote. I am coming from the right side. Right side, the arrow mark they have shown you. Then zygote. Then zygote will undergo cleavage. Okay, cleavage, 2-celled stage, 4-celled stage, 8-celled stage. That will give rise to morula. Morula will give rise to blastula. And the blastula finally gets implanted. Here they have shown you the enlarged part as well as the inside part, that is implanted blastocyst. Okay, this is regarding the implantation at a glance. Then next is regarding the pregnancy and embryonic development. Okay, so here, so pregnancy, you can say, how you can define pregnancy. Pregnancy is nothing but the duration between conception and childbirth. The duration between conceiving, getting pregnant, and delivery or the child of the birth of the child, that is called as pregnancy period. Pregnancy is the duration between conception of child and childbirth. In humans, it is approximately 9 months and 7 days. So what happens after implantation now? After implantation, finger like projections you can say. After implantation, that is the outer layers of the cell called as trophoblast get rooted into the endometrium. Deeply this trophoblast is going to get attached to the endometrium, and it is going to give rise to finger like projections. So here slowly, this is the uterus wall, they have shown you the uterus wall, and your blastocyst deeply gets buried in this uterus, and it will develop finger like projections called as chorionic villi. Okay, so here after implantation, that is the outer layer of the trophoblast will deeply get rooted into the endometrium, and it will produce finger like projections called as chorionic villi. And then these will be again surrounded by, this chorionic villi will be surrounded by, here that is yellow color mark they have shown you. These are all the chorionic villi with yellow color arrow mark they have shown you regarding the finger like projections. Those are called as chorionic villi. Okay, then they are surrounded again, they are surrounded by uterine tissue and maternal blood. So maternal blood also they have shown you. This chorionic villi will be surrounded by maternal blood as well as uterine tissue also. Then here this chorionic villi, which are finger like, they have shown you finger like earlier, they had shown you, and the uterine tissue. This is the uterine tissue. Uterine tissue together will form placenta. So here they have also shown you with the yellow arrow mark, that is placenta. Then what is the function of this placenta then? This placenta is nothing but the structural and functional unit between the embryo and the maternal body. So here your placenta is nothing but, it is a structural, it is going to act like a bridge you can see. It is a bridge between the maternal body as well as the developing embryo. Okay, so here this placenta, here they have shown you the diagram left side, that is baby will be connected to the mother with the red color rope like structure, that is nothing but the placenta. Or if you want to see in detail, you can see in this the right side diagram, that is the mother body as well as the baby, and they have shown you with the help of yellow color arrow mark, that is the placenta, rope like structure, rod like, that is thread like structure, broad thread like structure, that is the, you can say, is there. that is nothing, placenta, that is placenta usually, it is going to act like a bridge as well, I told you. Your placenta is connected to the embryo by an umbilical cord. Directly your placenta is not connected to the baby, but instead it is connected to the embryo by an umbilical cord. And this placenta will help in the transportation of substances to and fro from the embryo. Means you can say a placenta will facilitate, will not facilitate, it will facilitate supply of oxygen and nutrients to the embryo, and also in turn removal of carbon dioxide and excretory waste which is produced by the embryo. So give and take. It is going to act like a bridge, or supply some useful materials and take out some excretory products. Okay, so this, coming to the functions of your placenta. The placenta here is going to, first function is going to act as a barrier between the fetus and mother. Then second function, it will supply oxygen, nutrients, etc. from the mother to the fetus. Then third function is removal of carbon dioxide, excretory waste from the fetus. As well as a placenta is going to produce certain hormones. Then which are those? A placenta will produce hormones because it is going to act like an endocrine gland as well. So it is going to secrete mainly hormones like HCG, that is human chorionic gonadotropin, then human placental lactogen, HPL, then estrogens, progesterone and relaxin. Okay, so these are all the hormones of placenta, and this is very, very important question for 2 marks question, that is mention the hormones of placenta or write the hormones of placenta, that is HCG, HPL, progesterone, estrogen and relaxin. HCG is human chorionic gonadotropin, HPL is human placental lactogen, progesterone, estrogen and relaxin. Important, remember this. Okay, then about the development, that is during pregnancy. You can say here the diagram is there. Pregnancy means when the baby is there inside the womb of the mother. Okay, right, it will be having placenta, umbilical cord. Okay, inside the uterus your fetus is lying. Okay, so during pregnancy you can say that your levels of hormones like estrogen, progesterone, cortisol, prolactin, thyroxine, etc. are also increased during that period. Okay, and why they are increased then? What is their role then? These increase, they are going to support the fetal growth as well as metabolic changes in the mother, as well as they will help in maintaining of pregnancy. So these all hormones like estrogen, progesterone, cortisol, prolactin, thyroxine are all necessary. Okay, then the germ layers give rise to all the organs, that is germ layers. It may be endometrium or your and in inner layers. Here they have given you, that is endometrium. Next one, that is the germ layers. 3 germ layers are there: mesoderm, endoderm and ectoderm. Sorry, not endometrium, that is mesoderm, endoderm and ectoderm. These are the germ layers, and these germ layers during pregnancy they will give rise to all the tissues, or that is sometimes that is tissues or organs. Then the stem cells in inner cell mass have got a capacity to give rise to all the tissues and the organ. That is the specialty of the stem cells. Then, as I already told you, that is human pregnancy is going to last for 9 months, and that is called as gestation period, which they may ask you for 1 more question. Define gestation period. The period of pregnancy is called as gestation period, and they have given you few examples also. That is, in cats, how long the gestation period or the pregnancy period will that is retain. It is for 2 months. In dogs it is for 2 months, whereas in elephants it is for 21 months. Then this is regarding the pregnancy and embryonic development. Okay.